Hello, my name is Hunter, and I am here today to tell you a little bit about the wondrous world of the Young Avengers. I'm going to be discussing Volume 2 of the Young Avengers, which admittedly is not the best place to start with them, but it is probably going to be your most accessible place to start if you want to get these comics yourself and give them a read, which I highly recommend and support doing. Probably I would dare to say the most popular online version of this team. I do have the original book, Volume 1, this is a giant copy with the entire story in it, and this book is phenomenal. I do recommend this, but that is not what we're going to be covering here today. Volume 2 is 15 issues, so I might make this a 5-part thing and just cover 3 issues at a time. This first video is probably going to be especially long because I want you to get to know the characters, because this series has 3 of my absolute favorite Marvel characters of all time. So what I'm going to be doing is a bit of what the YouTube channel Comic Storian does, where I'm going to break down this comic book for you. Now, I did grab a light, so hopefully the lighting's a bit better. I'm going to move to the side here because I'm going to be trying to pop up some graphics here as we go. We open to America Chavez agreeing to meet Loki at a local restaurant of sorts. It's not Earth 616, I believe it's Earth 212. So this scene starts with Loki asking, oh, by the way, this is Kid Loki. This is not the Loki we all know and love from the MCU. I suggest if you want more information on Kid Loki, you do a deep dive into it yourself, because it's a lot to explain, and I've even read some of those books, and it's still a bit confusing. So we have Kid Loki and America Chavez. America Chavez is a character who possesses super strength, super speed, and she has this ability to punch holes into other dimensions, and that's one of her biggest powers. It's one of her biggest assets, and they're star-shaped in the comics, and they're pretty cool looking. I will put a picture here if I can find a good one. So what Loki does here is he asks America Chavez to help him kill Wiccan, which is a very important character that we will get back to in a minute. Chavez to help kill Wiccan because he thinks Wiccan is a threat, and that's basically all the information that he gives Chavez at this time. So America's really just like, what the hell, no. And plus she's like, you're Loki, why the hell would I help you? And she basically throws him through a table, and they mess up this Korean restaurant place, and it's a mess. The fight ends, and she eventually says that she's going to keep an eye on Loki and Wiccan, because despite everything, she does not want interdimensional threats. So she does agree, or more or less imply, that she will look into to Wiccan. Now, Loki says this meeting went better than expected, and then he hands you, the reader, a flyer. And actually, I lied. This is not issue 1. This is technically the prequel to the book. That is this here. I don't know if that's backwards for you, but it says, basically, Young Avengers Wanted. And it's basically just kind of a joke. It's basically just a reference to the thought of Young Avengers is just essentially a group of fanboys with superpowers who have proved themselves time and time over, and have become a superhero team, even though the actual Avengers really don't like it most of the time. Okay, now for the real intro to issue 1. We open on Kate Bishop, my current lock screen on my phone, and Haley Steinfeld playing in the Disney Plus series coming up. Kate Bishop and Novar, also known as Marvel Boy. He's had a couple names in the comics. I don't even know if he has a real name at this moment. He's one of those characters who switches up his name quite often. Unimportant. Kate wakes up in a bed that is unfamiliar to her for a moment before she eventually wakes up and looks outside, and she's like, oh shit, I'm not on Earth right now. She looks outside the window of the spaceship and she sees Earth in the distance. And kind of make some jokes and play fight while singing, I believe it's 60s music, 60s songs, and yeah, Kate, the scene kind of wraps up with Kate saying that, like, she loves to play hero, which is very true to her character, because she doesn't have powers, but she's proven herself to be able to fight with the Young Avengers and alongside the real Avengers multiple times now at this point. We get this great scene change immediately into Spider-Man, and Spidey gets, I believe, shot and falls off of like a banister thing, and there's just this like street level bad guy going, oh my god, I shot Spider-Man, I killed Spider-Man, and this other bad guy's like, oh my god, you shot Spider-Man, and we very quickly see this evolve into Spider-Man morphing Skrull style and turning into Hulkling, also known as Teddy. And yeah, Teddy is like, oh shit, and they take out the robber real quick, and he ducks home through the tops of buildings and goes into his room, which is actually a room in Billy Kaplan's house. He sneaks through the window and Billy is sitting up waiting for him on his bed, and Billy Kaplan is Wiccan. Back to him now. These two get into an emotional full spread fight about Teddy going out and playing hero by himself, because they've established in the past that it always ends badly and a lot of their friends have gotten severely hurt or even died, which is a whole thing that happens in Volume 1 and some other stories involving the Young Avengers. It's an ongoing theme that these guys have had it rough. Teddy pulls out the card that his adoptive mother was quite literally, we'll just say, killed in front of him. Yeah, and the scene ends pretty solemnly but beautifully. I will just read here. Teddy says, "Billy, I fell in love with a superhero," and we get this lovely Wiccan Hulkling kiss scene, and that brings me to the next point of Wiccan and Hulkling are probably, I'm gonna say, the most predominantly like out, open, and just amazing gay and LGBT members of like the entire Marvel community. There's a handful of others, but Wiccan and Hulkling have been driving the force since the beginning of the 2000s, really. Like, they have been out since Volume 1, which is great, and as we will come to discover, is an ongoing theme throughout all of the Young Avengers, truly. Their fight rounds off and we get this beautiful picture of Wiccan scrolling through dimensions, and it's very close to how I would describe the Doctor Strange scene from Infinity War, where Strange is like sitting like this and his face is doing the flicker thing and he's going through all the different timelines, and what he's doing is he is trying to find a timeline in the moments before Teddy's mom died, and he wants to bring her back for him. The page turns and we're immediately with Loki, now on Earth 616, I believe, and America Chavez is now here too. And she's just like, "Chico, what's going on here? We can't be doing this." And they get into a fight on the roof of Wiccan and Teddy's building. Amongst this chaos, Teddy hears this and he runs back up to the roof, and I believe he breaks up the fight? Yeah, Teddy hears this, he runs up really frantically, and he breaks up the fight on the roof. We get this shot after the fight breaks up and America flies off, where Billy's father, I don't remember his name at the moment, so Mr. Kaplan, comes up to the roof and basically says, like, "Teddy, come downstairs, you want to see this," and he comes downstairs and what's waiting for him is his mom, his dead adoptive mom. Billy and Teddy get sent off to go to bed, but very quickly we are not given a lot of hope here. It's like a one-page turn. We find out that his mom isn't quite right, not quite her. His mother is speaking to Billy's parents and saying that they shouldn't be playing hero. He shouldn't have a boyfriend. None of this should be happening. They should be good boys. They should be going to school, getting their grades. And we quickly find out that she is, in fact, a rather new, I think probably new to Young Avengers, unless I'm really mistaken, a multidimensional villain called the Mother, or Mother Parasite. And so our story begins. I am just going to read this like really quick bullet point of issue 2 and 3. That was issue 1 that I just got through. I'm gonna start with 2 now. So, we open on Billy and Teddy. He is sleeping in his room and he is scared to get up, essentially, because he doesn't want everything to be a dream and he wants his mother to be real. It's really sad. They immediately realize something's off. Wiccan especially realizes something's super not right here and that he's done something he should not have done. Mother says, "Stop heroing, break up with your boyfriend," essentially, and Billy's parents agree, and we see in previous panels that the Mother Parasite has infected Billy's parents. Billy gets freaked out by this to the point where he tries sending her back, and if you guys don't know how Billy's powers work, they're kind of amazing. He casts spells by just speaking his intentions, so he just speaks what he wants to happen, like, as concisely as possible, like, on a loop, so he just says, "Back whence you came, back whence you came, back whence you came," a bunch of times, and eventually she blasts Billy back, tries to send him away into a room, and these are really artistically done, and as an artist myself, I love these panels a lot. They adore these panels. They're some of my favorite Marvel or comic panels I've ever seen. I'll add them in when I get to them because Teddy hulklings out and grabs Billy and flies off. And before this happens, Teddy punches her and she kind of represents as like a goo substance. It's lovely. Billy flies off. They go to Avengers Mansion and they kind of make a joke about how they still can't believe they can just walk into Avengers Mansion because these guys are essentially fanboys. Like, Billy knows Wanda's technically his mom. That's a whole other story. long story. But he doesn't see her as mom. There's a joke in the book where he calls her the Scarlet Mom. He's like, I call her Wanda because it's better than calling her the Scarlet Mom. So they go to the Avengers, they explain everything, and they're like, okay kids, we'll help you. And Cap and Wanda take them right back home, and it turns out Wanda, Cap, and all the other adults are infected by the mother parasite as well. They get back to the house, obviously Cap and Wanda are there, so Mother pretty easily tosses Billy and Teddy into this multidimensional prison, which I will definitely throw up the picture here somehow, even if I have to take a picture of the page, because I love this scene so much. So yeah, Loki comes by the end of the panel and he pulls, he pulls out Wiccan, and then Wiccan and Loki go down the ladder and finally rescue Teddy. Loki teases Wiccan about his name, which is an ongoing joke throughout all of the Young Avengers. Like, he's always getting teased about calling himself Wiccan. And they go to Asgardia to try to figure some of this out. And, of course, we are met immediately with Laufey. And issue 2 ends and issue 3 begins. Enter issue 3. There is a fight with Laufey. It's this epic, like, double, triple page spread. Yeah, Wiccan throws up trying to teleport Laufey away and realizes, like, that's a lot of power. He can't do that, which is essentially, we find out, him trying to teleport a mother-infected, dead parasite version of Laufey, because Laufey is actually dead. So America Chavez comes in out of nowhere just in the nick of time, kicks her little star portal in, and kicks Laufey's ass for just a second, but he turns into that goo we talked about earlier. Gooifies, and America Chavez is like, what's happening here? And then America's mothers, yes, her 2 mothers, come in, and they're being strict like they were before too. The thing is, like Laufey, her mothers are both dead and they've been spread across the dimension, so she's like, this can't be happening, this isn't real. Laufey reforms from the goo and Loki freaks out, grabs all of them, and zaps them away to MJ's club back in New York. The 4 of them had this really bantery discussion in MJ's club about the whole situation, and it leads to Loki essentially implying and then directly asking, like, we can solve all of this if you lend me your powers at Wiccan, because he thinks Wiccan is not strong enough to do this himself, and at this point Wiccan isn't strong enough to get rid of this spell by himself. Like, he can't defeat Mother on his own at this point. So Loki directly asks for his powers, and he makes this lovely joke that he would not lend Loki an eraser, let alone power over literal reality. So then immediately, of course, as one does, a bar person comes up and is like, hate to embarrass you guys, but your parents are here, and it's this lovely shot of all of the infected parents coming in to take their kids back. There's this great spread of all the heroes color-coded to their themed color, fighting all their parents, and then eventually issue 3 ends with them all in this like goop thing. Just show you there. Everyone agreed, it's best you and all these lovely boys come home with me so I can feed on your souls until you're all nice and dead inside. Hope will only hurt you, Billy. It really will. Best to get rid of it. And yeah, and that is how issue 3 ends. And I hope you enjoyed this. This is gonna be hell to edit, but it's finals right now. I really don't want to be doing them, so this has been a fun little distraction. I have no clue when part 2 will be coming out. If this gets literally over 20 views, I'll be motivated to do it. If you want more, send this to like a Marvel group chat or something, or your friends, and that'd be great. Or just anyone you know who likes Marvel, because like I said, this is more than likely going to be phase 6 of Marvel. If not, it's going to end up as a Disney Plus show, so this is valuable information nonetheless. Like and subscribe. I have this awesome playlist right here, by the way, which is the history of musical theater that is being put on by my school that I am helping direct, paint, do lighting for, do camera work for. I'm doing a lot of that, so check that out here. And yeah, as I said, subscribe, and I will see you around.